Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Gina, and let's do some plant stuff. So in today's video, we're going to be doing some plant chores because I have some plant chores to do, and I thought it might be fun to get you guys involved. And this is going to be Plant Chores Scindapsus edition because every chore I'm going to be doing here today with you guys is involving Scindapsus, and you might be able to see some Scindapsus here in the background. So I have a fairly big collection of Scindapsus. It's one of my very favorite genuses to collect, and I think most of the Scindapsus I acquired was pretty much last summer. I went a little bit wacky in adding Scindapsus to my collection, and I added quite a few. So a lot of these, I guess probably all of these you're going to be seeing that I'm going to be working with today, they've been with me for 1 year. So there's a few things we're going to do in this video. The big thing is, and the thing I've been putting off and what I've been wanting to do, is to take the original plant and make it bigger. All right, so that's the main thing we're doing. So when I purchase Scindapsus, and these are I guess I would say higher end Scindapsus. They're a little bit more expensive. Like I would say the lower end Scindapsus would be the Exotica. You can get those at local big box stores, maybe, and I haven't seen them recently at the big box stores, but like the Silvery Anns, you used to be able to get those at the big box stores. Haven't seen them recently. So I would consider those as kind of the lower end of Scindapsus. And now some of the higher end ones in my collection, like I have the variegated jade satin, which is right back here. And then like this is the Scindapsus platinum right here. And then I have like the silver hero, and what else am I working with here today? I think those are it. Oh, and the silver cloud. Okay, so when I purchase these ones I just mentioned, I typically will, and let me get you an example here. I will purchase them because it's just more economical to get them at this size. So this is actually a propagation I made of the Scindapsus platinum, and I do sell this size in my shop. And so yeah, and there's a few reasons why I typically like to go smaller, and I've mentioned that in other videos, but probably definitely the biggest reason for going this size is because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to get them as just a cutting like this. So my mother plants, and I have some of my mother plants right here, like for instance this one, the platinum, Scindapsus platinum, which, yeah, this is a baby from this plant right here. So as you can see, it's just one. This is the mother plant. It is just one big long vine coming out of this pot. So what I've been wanting to do for a while now is to make a bigger pot. So I have made propagations from this plant, and I'm going to be repotting this plant. We're going from this 4-inch pot, and we're going to put several of my propagations, including the mother plant, into one of these 6-inch pots. And I think this will be big enough. It should be big enough. And so that will give you the look of a bigger pot. So if I was to buy this plant already full in this size pot, it would probably be over $100 to do that. And that is way above my budget. And actually, I find it more rewarding to go with the smaller plants like this, just the single cuttings, and growing them out and propagating them, and then creating that big pot later on down the road. It's just part of the fun of the hobby for me. Okay, so like I said, the plants I'm working with it's the Scindapsus platinum. I have the jade satin variegated, and I'm going to be doing the silver hero also, which I do have to grab. And a lot of my Scindapsus I keep up here on these shelves. I'll have to get in a closer shot for you to see them, but it's just, my shelves are full of Scindapsus. So the Silver Hero is right here. It's on the very end. I need to grab that one down. Next to it is, this is the Silver Cloud, and unfortunately, I thought I was going to be able to work with this one today, but I pretty much sold all of my propagations of the Silver Cloud. I do have one left in the shop, and I thought about pulling it from the shop, but instead, what we're going to do, instead of repotting this one, I thought I can propagate this one, because you can see just how long this vine is. You see this? Quite long. So I thought, in addition to repotting, I could show you exactly how I go about propagating these plants for future, well, for sales for my shop, but also for future up pots, making plants bigger. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. I do have to go grab my Silver Hero also real quick. And the Silver Hero is another one that is pretty big, as you can see. But again, all it is just one, this is one vine. One single vine. So we're gonna make it into a much prettier looking pot. When they're like this, and Scindapsus have a habit of doing this, they'll get these very long, empty vines, no leaves on these vines. If they get enough light, eventually some leaves will pop out of these empty vines, but yeah, you have to give it pretty decent light for that to happen. So I'm going to make this one look much better, clean it up, and it's just in this tiny little, the original pot it even came in when I received it. So I don't think it's the original soil though. I think I did change out the soil. So yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan for this video. So we've got a lot of work to do. So let's get started. I do have my soil. I mixed up a bunch of my DIY soil, and I'll tell you what goes into that. All right, so the soil, the base of my soil, I like to use the Ocean Forest. It's the Fox Farms Ocean Forest potting soil, which is in itself is a really good soil. It has so much in it, and they include worm castings, and just it's a very nice soil. But in addition to that, I do like to amend it, and I will add pumice. I add pumice into this mix. I add charcoal into the mix, and I add orchid bark, and I also add a little bit extra worm castings. So it's a very rich and good soil for the plants. And this is my mix I use for almost everything, pretty much, yeah. All right, so I guess we'll start with, let me see, let me pull this chair over here. Okay, so I think we're just gonna start right here with the Scindapsus platinum, since it's right here in front of me. And yeah, I'm just gonna pull it out of the pot here. And I do have a few, I think I have two. I think I have two propagations I've made of this plant. That I'm going to combine with this mother plant, and has a nice healthy root system, as you can see. And let me grab, we're going into the 6-inch pot I showed you before. All right, so here is one of the propagations, and let's see here, two, I have two, and then I have that one. Yeah, Yeah, just wanted to make sure that this is the platinum because the platinum and the silver hero look kind of similar to each other. So I want to make sure I don't get them confused. So we're sticking, we have all Scindapsus platinum here. So these three are going to be going into this pot together. And it should give us a really nice looking big pot. Now these pots, I picked these up off of Amazon. I really like them because you can kind of see through them a little bit. It's a little bit opaque, but you can still kind of see the roots through them. I kind of like sticking with clear pots for all of my plants instead of like this pot that it was previously in. You have no idea what's going on in that with that root system and something like that. And so I really do like using these clear pots and then just putting them into a cover pot. It's my favorite, my very favorite. All right. So let's get this in here. Now this one is pretty long, as you can see. Actually, I'm gonna get this all potted up and then I'm probably going to trim this down. Not probably, I am, to make it more manageable. And then of course, you know, I won't just toss that extra vine that I don't need, but I will propagate it and put it into my shop. So we don't want to waste. If we can help it. I mean, sometimes you have, you just don't have space for like when you have to trim down your plants, you don't have the space for it. Not everybody does. And sometimes you just have to, if you don't have someone you can give those cuttings or that extra vine to, you can just, sometimes you just have to either compost it, or if you don't have a compost, then sometimes you just have to toss them, which is unfortunate, but sometimes you just have to. All right, so these guys have really nice, pretty nice root systems on them. I'm not going to try and remove all that soil. I don't think it's necessary. So I'm just kind of spacing them. There's three plants in here, and start filling it up. So I just kind of like to pat the side of the pots to really fill in any sort of gaps between the roots. Try and fill in any air holes that are in there. And that looks pretty good. And as you can see, hopefully you can see, the nice thing, as I said about these pots, is you can see the roots. You are able to see the roots through the pot. Yeah. So that one is done. That's Scindapsus platinum. So it's not like a super full pot, but as the propagations grow, and again, I'm going to be propagating this plant, I can continue, just keep making it every year, just make it a little bit bigger. So yeah, that is one down, Scindapsus platinum. And then I will water these later. After I get them all done, I'll water them. And then I will place them I'll place them on the shelf and I can show you. I can show you how they all look, how much fuller it looks. All right, next up, let's do, I think we'll do the Silver Hero next, which is this long boy here. This one. All right, but I need to go empty this out and then we'll start again. All right, so Silver Hero, we're ready to work on this one. And this one has needed to be done for a while because I see this little pin. These are really handy. The pins, they like hold the plant into the pot nicely. Yeah, I really like those. They're great for propagations too. If you have like a top heavy, like a big leaf propagation, and it wants to flop out of the pot, those pins are nice to hold them down. So, and that's kind of what was happening with this one because it's just so big, and actually not like a huge root system on this one. Kind of a little bit pathetic root system on this one. I did lose some roots here, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe being repotted will help that one out somehow. So here are propagations, also kind of long, and here's the other one. So there, once again, we have 3 that are going to be going into the new 6-inch planter. And actually all 3 of these, the vines need trimming. And I did say, I think I said, this is the Silver Hero, which is a pretty fast grower. Actually, all these are pretty fast growers, all these that I'm working with today. There are some Scindapsus in my collection that are definitely not very fast growers. And like the snakeskin, Scindapsus snakeskin, and that one is more of like a shingling, I guess, kind of plant. It's different. It's quite different than all my other Scindapsus, and it's living in my grow tent, which I will show you here, video of it, and it's just like climbing up the side, the pole of the grow tent. And I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna propagate that one someday, but I'm gonna have to. So that should be interesting. But that one is a pretty slow grower. And then also I have the Scindapsus tricolor, which is kind of a slow one. And that one also lives in my grow tent. And yeah, and I actually have like 3 propagations of that plant. My original I picked up, it tried to die on me, and so I had to, like, it lost every single leaf, and I stuck it into some sphagnum moss and in a Ziploc bag, and then I was able to, or maybe I chopped that one up. Oops, darn it. I just spilled on myself. Well, I need to vacuum anyway, so, but, what was I talking about? The tricolor. The tricolor is just, it's one of the slower growers for me. And yeah, it seems to be like a little bit more of a difficult one. It kind of wants to get brown tips on it, which you could probably see in the video or photo or whatever I showed you, however I showed it to you. Yeah, that one I'm still trying to figure that one out. All right, so this one is done, Silver Hero, and I don't have a little plant marker for it, so I am just gonna I use this a lot, just some tape, and I write the name of the plant on it. And I stick that, Silver Hero, just stick that on the side of the pot because, like I said earlier, like the Scindapsus Platinum and the Scindapsus Hero look pretty similar, very similar looking. So once again, I'm going to water this one And I'm going to trim this one down so it's a little bit more manageable, because it is going up onto the shelf. And yeah, and when you're sitting on the couch underneath that shelf, you get Scindapsus vines touching your head, so you kind of want to fix that. So that one is done. Moving right along. All right, next one. This is the Jade Satin Variegated, which is a gorgeous plant. Beautiful plant. And this one is it's an even tinier pot than the other ones we've been working with. This is maybe a 3-inch pot. So yeah, this is the one I've really been wanting to work with, really been wanting to repot. So let me show you her babies. So I did propagate this one. Again, this is one single vine. Purchase it that way because it is cheaper to purchase it that way. And it did split off and give me, oh, you know what it is? It did split because when I propagated it the first time, the new growth points started growing out of it. So, all right, so let me show you. I have sold some of her propagations already, but I have 2 left that I have saved specifically for, look how beautiful, specifically for making a bigger pot of this plant. Ooh, this one that's interesting. It's gave me a leaf that's all the variegation part. It's all this. I mean, there's a little bit of green on it. Hopefully this is not all of them. The new leaves that pop out won't all look like that. This one's really pretty. Almost a half moon, almost. All right, so once again, three plants going into this pot, the 6-inch pot. Let's see how this one looks. I'm curious. So this is the mother plant here. I'm curious to see how her roots are looking. The soil is a little bit dry. I hear a really pretty bird. You know, it's probably the goldfinches. I hear a goldfinch. Oh, I have to look. They are so pretty. Sorry, I get distracted by the birds that visit my feeders. Actually, I think it might be the goldfinch, but I also hear a black-capped chickadee out there. So, wow. Okay, here's the roots on this one. Looking really nice. And the roots on this little propagation look really good. See this one? I mean, it's a clear pot, so I can already see it has a really good root system on this. I'd bring it to you, but it will get dirt everywhere. And I do need to vacuum, but I still don't want to get a bunch of dirt all over the floor. Okay, let's make sure that these are kind of place them so that, yeah, that's pretty good, I think. That looks pretty good. Oh, this is going to be a really pretty pot here. Gorgeous. Already it looks so pretty. So I did I do actually have 2 more propagations of this one left. And because someone was asking me if I was going to be putting more of these in my shop, and I didn't think so because I knew I was going to be keeping these 2, but it turns out I do have 2 more. They're much smaller, they're still growing, but I will have more of this one in my shop, this jade satin variegated. So that looks pretty good. I think this is my favorite one I've redone. My favorite one so far. So yeah. All right, so now I'm not gonna water these yet. And I also still need to trim them down, but let me clean up this. And then I think what we'll do is we'll do some propagating of the silver cloud. And I'll show you how I go about doing that. Okay, so this here, this is the silver cloud. It's got a really, really nice long vine on it. And let me see where I cut it before, because like I said, it has been chopped before. I have made propagations from this one, and I'm not seeing where I chopped it the first time. Oh, right here. Okay. So this is where I chopped it the first time. So out of this node here is this new vine grew. So I could chop it here, but then that would be a wasted. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it. I'll chop it at this leaf. That's what I'm going to do. So then a new growth point will come out of this plant, out of this where I chop it. Does that make any sense? So when I originally chopped it here, you can see the cut right there. The new vine started growing out of that node. So I don't want to chop it there again because nothing will grow from that. I don't think. It's my understanding that there's nothing, more growth cannot come out of this. Like it's now considered a spent node, meaning no new growth can come out of it. So we need to move, we either need to cut further back or we either need to cut further up the vine. So if I cut here, this is done. It's not going to grow anymore. So I need to cut here above this leaf that still has I'm probably saying this incorrectly. It still has a node that can produce new growth. So we're going to chop it right there. All right, so we're going to propagate this entire stem here. I'm not the best at explaining things. I know what I'm talking about. I just don't always know how to articulate it, like to explain it to you guys. So hopefully that was understandable. And if not, well, you can ask me a question and hopefully I can clarify it further. So this is done. This is done for now until probably next year. Most likely next year, like I did with these previous 3 Scindapsus, I'll make this into a bigger pot because I will hold back at least 2 cuttings from this that I propagate, this extra stem. And the silver cloud is like, it's one of my very favorites of the Scindapsus. It is just so beautiful. The leaf on this one, look at this leaf. Look how pretty that is. I just love it. All right, so let's see. Here's where we made our cut. So this, we're gonna pot it down like this because the plant is growing up this direction. So I'm gonna make a cut, and each leaf is going to be a new plant. And then this, I'll leave this with this one. I'll leave all this because there is a new leaf that's going to be popping out at the top there. So now these stems don't need to be this long. I mean, I like the length to hold the plant into the pot, but as you can see, it's way too tall because where the roots are going to be coming out of is right here, and we want this at the soil level, like right at the soil level or like right below it. So I'm gonna just cut that and make that a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna do that with all of these because way too much stem. Nothing's gonna come out of this. This pretty much will just rot off, but your roots are gonna come out of right here. And I'm just doing that with each one of these with these giant long stems. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're gonna have 9 new plants. Or is it 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're gonna have 10 new plants. Do I have 10 cups here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I do. And once again, I am using the clear pots so I can keep an eye on those roots. And then I have to put my little markers on these so I don't forget what they are. I'll put the little name, what these plants, so I don't forget. 4. All right, so this is the Scindapsus silver cloud. Can you guys hear my cuckoo clock ticking? I'm gonna open it up. I have it, the nice thing, well, I told you guys about my cuckoo clock that I picked up at the thrift store. And the nice thing about it is you can silence it at night, and I still have it silenced, which is why you haven't heard it cuckooing. And I haven't unsilenced it yet, so maybe I'll do that so you guys can hear it. Well, it will. As soon as I unsilence it, it'll cuckoo a lot, so you'll hear it. So after it's been turned off all night and you open it back up again, it will cuckoo 13 times. And now it will, and then it cuckoos at the half hour and it cuckoos at the top of the hour. And I'm not sure what time it is right now. I didn't look. Let me see. So it's like 10:35, so it's not gonna cuckoo for a while again. But maybe I'll still be doing this, and you guys will get to hear it. Well, you already did. You already did get to hear it. Okay, so they all have a name on them, and so I just fill up each cup with soil, and then I take one of my cuttings. This is one of my cuttings, and sometimes I'll put rooting hormone on them, but not always. And then I just stick it in. And that is it. So then I'll water this one and it will go straight into my grow tent, and it doesn't take long for these guys to start pushing out roots. They're really pretty fast rooters and pretty fast growers overall. So, and I just do that with each one of these. Just like that. Hard to believe that, like, this will be 10 new plants. So of course I will keep a couple of them, and then the rest I will put in my shop. We'll sell them in my shop. And if you love the looks of this silver cloud, like I said, here's, look how beautiful it is. I do have one available in my shop at this very moment. Well, at the moment of making this video, it is available. So if you like it, you should grab it, because that is my very last one, and I won't have any more available until these guys grow out, which will probably be a few months, 2 or 3 months, most likely. All right, so there they are. 10 new plants, 10 new propagations, and I will be able to, next year, make this one a bigger pot. So it's just fun. It's just so fun. For me, it is just so fun. I don't mind purchasing a small sized cutting and just growing it out. Like, it's just, I mean, that's why I prefer getting them small, because you have the joy of watching the plant grow, and then you have the sense of accomplishment when you are able to do this, propagate, and then come back and repot it into something like this, something bigger. Whereas when I purchased the cutting of this plant, I don't remember offhand how much the cutting was. It was probably around 30 plus. If I were to purchase the plant like this, it would be over $100, and that is just not, it's not very rewarding. You have the guilt of, well, I do. I know not everyone's like me, but you have the guilt of spending that much money, and then you miss out of the pleasure and the sense of accomplishment of growing the plant out and creating something like this. So yeah. So now I am going to, let me just push my propagations to the side here. So let me bring in all my newly potted plants. They're getting caught up because the vines are so long. Let me just pull them all over here. So I am going to, here they all are. Everything we did here today. I'm gonna water these, and then I have to find cover pots for these. I'm not sure I have cover pots. I do need to go to the thrift store. I am going to the thrift store today. Hopefully I can find some nice cover pots that will fit. I don't think, maybe this will fit in here. No, see, it won't fit in there. So I need to get some larger cover pots for these plants. And then I'm gonna put them on the shelf, and we'll see how they look up there. And I also need to trim them. So I'm gonna actually trim back some of this to propagate. Each one of these plants I'm gonna trim some back, and then I'm gonna place them on the shelves. And I will show you how that looks. So, how was that for some plant chores? It was kind of fun, right? All right, let's do some plant styling. All right, so right behind me here, this is the shelf where the Scindapsus are going that we just repotted. And I was able to find some probably temporary cover pots for these plants just because I'm not crazy about the way it looks. But I have this one. You can see the pot still kind of sticks out the top of the cover pot a little bit. Plus this isn't like, this has a drainage tray on this one, and I prefer it to not have like drainage like that. So I gotta find space up there for these plants. So these pots are much bigger than what was up there before, so I'm probably going to need to change things up. So like for instance, hopefully you can see, so I have, this is Silvery Ann right here. So I have all these books up here. I don't know that I'll be able to keep the books up there anymore. I think the books are gonna have to find a different space because I think I'm gonna need all this space for the plants. So let me just remove these books also. Okay, and let's see here. I need to trim up this stuff here too. I'm gonna do that real quick just so I can, oh, I have got my clippers right here, so. And let's see here. This is Silvery Ann, which is a pretty fast growing plant. And I have cut this one before, so I have to be careful of where I make my cuts. So I think we're okay right there. Okay, so this here is the Silver Lady, which this is another one that, so this one was this one has 2 cuttings, and I actually propagated this one recently, and I have the propagations growing in the grow tent, so eventually this is another one that I will be repotting again, like we just did, to get a fuller plant. But this one does just fine here, right on the corner. I'm gonna leave that one right where it was. Silvery Ann's gonna stay there. Let me remove. Oh, and this is another one. This is the, what is this one called? I always forget. Silver Splash? I believe it's Silver Splash. So another one that you can see, it's just one cutting, but I am getting a new growth point here. So that's exciting. But another one that I recently propagated, and I will be making a fuller pot out of this one. But the Silver Lady and the Silver Splash, they're just not ready yet to do that. Soon they will be ready. Okay, let me remove this stuff. All right, so on this corner here was the Silver Hero. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in that spot. So this is the Silver Hero. This is the pot I chose for it, most likely temporary, because once again, this one it does have drainage, and I want to find something that has no drainage, just so that when I do water these plants, it doesn't, I don't have to worry about, leaks. If it's in a cover pot that has no drainage, there's no chance of that leaking everywhere. So I am going to trim this back like I told you guys I was going to do, because it's just way too long. So let me make sure I'm not cutting at a previous chopping point. So I think we're good right there. So I can propagate all of this. And then this here, we cut it right there. And then on this one, we'll chop it right there. And this one, I think I'm going to chop it way up here. There. Can you even see it? There. Yeah. That looks pretty good. This one also looks like it needs water. It is watering day for many of these plants, so I need to keep these separated. So I know that these are the Silver Hero. Silver Hero. All right, so next I think over here, let's see, what do I want to put there? I think I'll move this one down. So that one was right there. I think I'll move it further down and we'll stick something right there. What should we put there? Now let's think pot color wise, even though these are temporary. We've got this one. And then we have this one, which I do like the looks of this, but once again, it does have drainage here, and I'd prefer to find just a more plain cover pot. This one I want to make sure gets more light, so I think what I'm going to do actually is move this one down here and put this one on the end. I think I like that. Yeah. So then the final, well, got this one, which is the platinum, and that one does need a trimming. So let's see here. I'm going to cut this one pretty short. And we'll propagate all of this platinum. And then the last one that needs to go up is, this is the Silver Cloud. It just needs to go back up here. So I guess I'll just set it right there. Oh, we do have one more still. The Silver Splash. How's that look? It's pretty filled with plants. I don't know, I think I need to, I'm not crazy about the look of that. I like being able to have like my little knickknacks up there with the plants, and I feel like this is plant overload. So I need to find, I need to redo this. I'm not crazy about it. You're seeing this in real time. This is real-time decorating here, decorating dilemmas. All right, I'm gonna sit and think about this, figure out what I can do, and I will show you the completed, what I've come up with at the very end. All right, I think I came up with a solution, and I was able to put my knickknacks back on the shelf, so let me bring you in for a closer look. Okay, so I ended up keeping this one here, the variegated jade satin. I'm leaving that one there. And then over here, the Silver Cloud. This one, Silver Cloud is staying. And then over down here, none of the new repots. That's the only new repot is this one. I do like the way that looks. So that is the only one that's staying. So what did I do with the other ones? You may be asking yourself. Oh, and none of the books went back up either. All the books, I need to figure out a new spot for those. But so over here, these are where the other two new repots are just probably temporarily, I'm not sure, but we have Silver Hero and Platinum. So they're just hanging out in the, with this with this mess of plants. And there was the cuckoo clock. So that is what I ended up doing. So now we have 10 propagations of the silver cloud. Those are going to go into the grow tent, and all of my work is done. My plant chores are done. Did some plant chores, did a little bit of plant styling. We can go back over here and look again. This is my favorite of all the things we did. Getting this jade variegated, repotted. I just love that. Love that plant. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed doing plant chores with me. If you did any plant chores yourself while I was doing mine, let me know. Let me know in the comments what you did. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.